So by the time Ahmed Suale died, he was not a member of Tiger Eye PI.
No, he was not.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, he said it here. He was not. He said, I have resigned. I don't want to have anything to do with them. But you too be mindful, because anyone who is leaking videos that could not have been leaked after you left is trying to implicate you. And today, we are all here because Daniel Sh0ck is accused of leaking pictures.
To your knowledge, or to Daniel Sh0ck's knowledge, did Ahmed Suale fall out with Anas Arimi or Anas?
Well, it would appear so, because from the narratives or from the text messages, he had a lot of complaints about him. He had even said in one of the text messages that if he were to talk, what Ken did was small.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, he even went ahead and said that you do all these efforts and you are not appreciated. So he had some...
And you have these text messages?
Oh, yes, I have.
You can share... Oh, you have to look at me. You can share with some of us? You can share it with the media?
I can share it.
Of Ahmed Suale talking?
Yes, I have Daniel Sh0ck's full permission to share everything.
Okay, let me tell our viewers that we will obtain these videos and share it to you on the extended interview of this, on the extended program interview of this very important interview. So don't worry, if you are watching it now and we are not showing the videos, keep an eye on Good Evening Ghana on this page and on TV on Tuesday night, so you get everything. Okay, so wow, you said Ahmed Suale said in a text that if he were to talk, what Kennedy did with who watches a watchman, watches the watchman will be small, will pale into insignificance.
Yes, he said the whole Ghana will shake
if he were to say what he knows
about
the operations of Tiger Eye.
Exactly.
What then was Ahmed Suale doing by the time he died, to your knowledge?
I have no idea what he was doing. Because I think he said he was going to lay low in one of the text messages. And after that, my clients never had any interactions with him again.
Then he heard he had died?
Then he heard he had died.
Did he attend the funeral, Daniel Sh0ck?
No, he could not have attended the funeral. Because upon the death of Ahmed Suale, people were calling him and threatening him. I think
why do people think that he could have been part of the operation to undo Ahmed?
Because a certain narrative has been set way back in 2018. I mean, the same person that keeps telling everybody that Ahmed Suale died because of pictures.
Who is this person?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. We should ask, the whole Ghana should ask, who set the narrative years ago saying that Ahmed died because there was a release of pictures. Now, this Ahmed, his pictures are everywhere. If we are talking about who released pictures of Ahmed first, or who released Ahmed's image first, it will be Anas. Because if you look at the school feeding documentary, the 16th minute, you will see Ahmed with a camera in there.
But they don't say that he's Ahmed Suale.
You don't have to say he's Ahmed Suale.
Yes, but having somebody's image in a documentary is quite different from having the image and writing the name Paul Adom Sh0ck on it. So because Ahmed is not on TV, he's not like me that people can, my name and my face are associated for many years. Ahmed's face may be known, but they didn't say in the documentary that this is Ahmed Suale.
My position is that Ahmed was not an undercover investigative journalist. Whoever he was interacting with during those documentaries...
Yes. When I interviewed Kwesi Nyantechi's wife, she told me that Ahmed came to Kwesi Nyantechi. He even came to their house to invite them to Dubai. So yes, he doesn't cover his face. He shows up.
So everybody knows who he is.
Not everybody, but some people.
I mean, those who...
Certainly, Kwesi Nyantechi knows him. Kwesi Nyantechi's friend, Mohammed, knows him. Some people around the GFA also know him.
Yes.
He comes and he says, Ahmed is looking for you. So he's quite well known. So you are making nonsense of the fact that given the so-called narrative of an Ahmed photograph is baseless.
Exactly. It is very baseless, because photographs of a person who is not hidden. He even has a Facebook page with his photographs. He has published his photographs everywhere.
And on the Facebook page, he's called Ahmed Suale?
No, he's called Usong Diwala. Yes, but if I want your image, it's not too difficult to get it. I
get the point you are making. That if somebody is looking for Ahmed's image, it's not difficult. It's there. It's available.
If I know
once I know who to ask him, and you get the image on social media.
Perfect.
So this image that we're seeing on the television, you said it was shared by Ahmed himself?
Yes, shared by him.
This is Facebook page? Facebook. But what name does he use on the Facebook page, you said?
Usong Diwala.
Usong Diwala.
Diwala, yeah. Well, I can't really pronounce it, but that's what
I see.
Yeah, I read it. He has pictures of his wife there, his children there, everything about him is there. So it's strange why the narrative would be that the person died because of pictures. When years ago, this man has said, a dead man has said, whoever is releasing pictures is trying to implicate you. And years later, 5, 6 years later, somebody is behind bars.
Because of the releasing of pictures.
Because of releasing
allegations
of
releasing of pictures.
Allegations, speculations of such a high crime. Such a crime that is I mean, if you are slapped with a murder charge, you can imagine.
So the police are not saying to Daniel Cranton that he killed Suale. They are saying that his release of the photographs led to the murder of Suale. Is that really what the charge sheet is about?
Yes, and then they claim that he was in the vicinity, which I doubt very much.
So by the time Ahmed died, was Ahmed, as far as your client knows, was Ahmed talking to Anas?
Was Ahmed, I don't know.
On friendly level, you know that.
Nobody knows that.
But he had certainly resigned from Tiger Eye.
Yes, he had resigned.
But that information has never come out. I mean, he was buried as a Tiger Eye staff. Anas was at the funeral. They treated the matter as one of their own has passed. They didn't say that he had left.
Mine. And we are going to find the killer of Ahmed. We are going to find the killer of Ahmed. And Ahmed died because of pictures. But to the best of our knowledge...
Let me finally ask you about the baby mother, because there's information that Anas spoke to the baby mother. What's that about?
Yes, she was heard in a conversation with Daniel Sh0ck that...
Do you have that audio?
Yes.
You'll give it to us?
I'll finish it with you.
All right.
He was said to have been planning, or Adolf and Anas. She said, if I can say it in Twi or say it in English, and Jane said, maybe a
Who's talking?
This is Anas.
Telling the lady.
This is the lady repeating what she had heard.
Okay, what is it?
She's saying that I'm Jane say me re fino. I think and I'm be na day. And she said some other lady in the
has the baby mother fallen out with Daniel Cranton?
Well, yes, they have fallen out. Because
I'm wondering why Anas will be talking to her, indicating the threats that he wants to carry out. If indeed he did, threats he wants to carry out against her baby father, unless, of course, the two of them are falling out.
They are falling out. They always fall out. They will start talking again. They fall out. They'll start talking again. But now they are not on good terms.
The lady and Cranton.
Exactly.
But Anas is on good terms with the lady?
Obviously, because she's the one who's giving the narrative.
But if she's not on good terms with Daniel Cranton, why is he calling him back to alert him that this is what your boss is saying?
No, at the time, what I'm trying to say is that they fall out and they become friends again.
Okay,
at the time,
they had become
friends again. And she's saying, oh, do you know what happened here? This person is saying this and this and this. Okay. And that we are planning that one Adolf was saying that we should fake an armed robbery attack. And somebody should even beat me up. So that in case you survive, you will not know that there was a ploy like that.
I don't get it. Somebody should beat who up?
Beat the Adolf up. So we are planning an armed robbery attack.
On who?
On Daniel Sh0ck.
And what's Adolf doing with it?
And Adolf will be with him, Daniel Sh0ck.
Oh, she'll be hanging around with him.
Yes. Yeah. So if the armed robbers come, they are supposed to kill Daniel Sh0ck and beat Adolf, so that it will be like they were both victims of the crime.
And then Daniel passed. So that it won't even look like it's orchestrated.
Exactly.
And Adolf was part of the plan.
And Adolf, she's heard saying that Adolf was part of the plan.
Adolf was part of the plan for himself to be beaten.
Yes.
Really?
Willing to be beaten.
Why? Who was Adolf? Who could Adolf be doing this for?
Adolf was still working with Anas at the time.
This is getting very complicated.
Yes.
But it's taken the police 6 years to arrest the same Daniel Cranton who has collaborated with them since Ahmed Suale died.
Yes.
That is shocking too.
Collaborated with them, applied to them. He has police escorts following him everywhere when he's going for all these meetings. So to me, I was shocked when you say he's a fugitive of justice. He fled when the police were closing in on him, and just returned 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, everybody in this Ghana who knows him knows that he's been here. People are having dinner with him. He's looking after relatives. He's paying for people to be released from hospitals. He's doing a whole lot of things in Ghana. He's in plain sight. He's not hiding.
Abreku, what is directions to jury?
So directions, a direction to a jury is a judge instructing the jury on what exactly to look out for.
Who is jury?
And a jury is a group of persons who make determination as to facts. So when we say facts
where do they find jury from?
From normal people. We often call them our peers. So peers are upright people in the society. And then there is a hearing, or there is a sitting called voir dire. Voir dire is the lawyers from both sides of the case, the plaintiff and the defendants, would all look at the pool that has been provided by the courts, and then they'll be given the opportunity to object. Maybe I don't want this person, maybe his glasses are too big. I don't want this person, I've insulted him before, that sort of thing. And then would have a definite number. In the United States, for civil matters, the jury ranges between 6 and 12 persons, yes, for civil matters.
But that's an even number.
Yes.
So if it's split between the middle,
for civil matters, it's supposed to be unanimous.
Oh, I see.
In civil matters.
So if one of the jury disagree,
it's lost. So they have three types of juries. A grand jury. A grand jury makes a determination as to whether or not an individual should be indicted. When we say indicted is simply a formal accusation. In Ghana, it's not like that.
Okay, let me bring it back. So jury were selected.
Yeah,
both parties agreed on the jury.
Yes.
Okay, so this instructions to jury comes at the end of the trial.
At the end of the trial and at the end of the submissions of both parties. So the closing arguments.
So after the closing argument, so cross-examination has happened both
Everything
ways.
has
Jury
happened.
is watching.
Yes.
Okay, so it means the judge has no role.
The judge has a role. So the judge has a role to moderate. The judge has a role to make determination on issues of law. The judge at times has a role to play in instructing the jury. So the judge looks at the facts, determines what the issues are, and instructs the jury accordingly. So for instance, if you see here, it says whether the statements were made with malice. Mind you, these statements were made in the United States.
But the jury are not lawyers.
They are not lawyers, and that's the criticism.
With what tools of application will they determine that this was defamatory or this was not defamatory? One is murder, like in Ghana.
Yes.
Whether he killed or he didn't kill, you don't need too much legal finesse to be able to determine that Kofi Mensah was the one who used the knife to choke this one. But this is, whether a statement is made defamatory, whether it's made with malice, it requires a bit of...
So they would often glean it from the facts, the surrounding circumstances, how the conduct of the parties have been, and then make the determination as to whether or not...
So the judge instructed them to do these two things. Then what did they do?
Three things, actually.
Okay.
So first, determine whether statements were defamatory. Two, determine whether they were made with malice. Malice is adwemobone.
That you intended to.
You intended, I want to mafia you.
Yeah.
And then three, make a determination as to damages and whether punitive damages should be paid. Not the amount of punitive damages. Whether punitive damages...
What is damages as distinguished from punitive damages?
So, if I offend you, I do something bad to you, and because of that you are stressed, you've come to court, you are worried, at the end of the day you win the case, I'm supposed to give you some amount of money to sort of appease
compensate
sort of. So it's damages. Punitive damages is the court looks at my conduct and says, you are Preku, you've been very malicious, you've been very wicked, so I want it to hurt you, and so I would add extra costs in addition to just me paying you, making you comfortable. I would also add costs that makes me suffer to show that I cannot take advantage of people. So it's a punishment. It's not just me appeasing the person.
Okay. So then what happened after that? So the jury were told that don't add punitive damages. Is that what they were told?
The jury were told to determine whether or not punitive damages should be paid, not the amount of punitive damages.
Or whether punitive damage should be paid. So that is the malice thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So it feeds from the malice.
Okay.
And then at a later sitting, they would determine whether or not, or they would determine the amount of punitive damages to be paid if the jury indeed found that punitive damages should be paid.
Who would determine the amount? The judge?
it will determine, it will hinge on the further instructions given to the jury at that sitting.
Or it will go back to the jury
at that sitting.
Okay, so then the jury came back with an award of $18 million in favor of Anas.
Yes.
Then what happened?
At this time, we didn't know. They just said 18 million. So the court assumed that 18 million is the damages I was talking about earlier, the general damages that are just compensating you. So now the judge now goes further to ask, okay, on the issue of punitive damages, how far? Then the jury says that, oh, the punitive damages, we added it to the 18 million. Oh. So we've already determined the punitive damage.
Okay.
So now the judge comes again and says, no, my instructions to you was to determine whether or not punitive damages should be paid and not the amount of punitive damages that have to be paid. So once instructions are given to juries and it becomes apparent that juries did not comply with the instruction, then you can go on appeal, you can bring an application to dismiss the verdicts, and there are other remedies. So in this instance, Anas's Kennedy Japan's lawyers raised an objection and applied, there was an application for a mistrial, which ruling would come at a later date.
30 days from now.
30 days, yes. In fact, they have submitted both their written arguments, what in Ghana would call statements of case. So the statement of case, Kennedy Japan's lawyers are going to write that the judge instructed the jury to do A, B, and C.
And they did something else.
And they did something else.
What are Anas lawyers going to say?
I
mean, they'll have to back the jury, isn't it?
Yes, they'll have to back the jury.
So they have to find a way.
Yes, they may make an argument that in any case it's a substance over form. And so if the jury has found it's prudent to, at that stage, award damages, then it will be superfluous for the judge to go back and backtrack everything.
I've been told that the three possible outcomes are that the judge may uphold the mistrial,
yes,
and begin the trial afresh,
yes,
and in that case select a new jury,
yes,
or the judge may cure the jury's errors and pronounce a verdict very similar to what the jury have said, but it may be different in terms of reduced damages.
Variation.
Okay, in that case, will an appeal lie at the Court of Appeal in the American judicial system? Is there an appeal line from the Court of Appeal?
Most likely, because the reason there is a rationale behind giving a judge a sort of relative control over what the jury can do or the jury cannot do. And so a flagrant disregard in that, or a purported flagrant disregard in that respect, is problematic.
So can you win on the jury and lose at the appeal? Like we know O.J. Simpson.
Yes, yes.
You win at the jury.
Yes,
they award you 10 million.
You go.
Court of Appeal says no
because there are no jury. There's no jury.
It's just three judges who are going to. Is American appeal three judges? Like
three judges.
Like common law appeal.
Yes, and then Supreme is 9. They sit all.
But there's another matter coming up where Kennedy Japan's lawyers, speaking to them this afternoon, they told me that they are filing something else. They are filing a process against Anas for Anas publishing what is happening in court and misleading the world, including the BBC and all of that. Is that a defamatory suit or is it contempt?
I think it would lie more in contempt. The reason being that many of us, or many people, often make the mistake that contempt or a proceeding ends at when the judge pronounces judgments. That is so, but that is not fully so. Because after a judge has given or pronounced judgments, after the jury has given a verdict, there are extra procedures that may take place. So, for instance, someone kills somebody, he's found guilty.
At the High Court level.
At the High Court level. We can fix another sitting for sentencing, right? If you go out and you make certain statements, that brings the administration of justice into disrepute. You can still be found for contempt.
But if the jury has given him 18 million, he goes to tell the BBC that I've won 18 million. And I understand that his lawyers have told Anas that he shouldn't have done that.
Yes, because the matter is still pending. So